Come on, y'all.
I thought you had a beer.
I finished it. Is there a greater song than that? I don't think so. I don't know what it is like about that song, but
Do we have any LSD?
no. But we were talking about it pre-recording, right?
Yeah, well, Benno was surprised that we had never done acid before.
It's quite interesting, to be honest. Like, you guys are quite conspiracy-y type people.
Yeah, I'm like that naturally.
Yeah, see, okay.
Naturally
We
fucked
don't
up.
need drugs for that shit.
This is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Ever since I started taking acid, I kind of let go of conspiracies.
Right.
Yeah, it's man, I can't believe that's actually flipping me out because I'm talking to you guys as if it's a thing, right? And before I ever did acid, I like to call it LSD because acid sounds a fuckload worse, right?
It does.
Like when someone says, "Oh, yeah, I've done ketamine and stuff," that's what I feel like when. So it would be the same thing, right? I would never touch ketamine. I've never done cocaine. I've never snorted anything in my life.
I'm trying to think if I have.
You trying to think if you have?
I don't think I didn't snort cocaine. I might have
Oh yeah, I've done that with.
Lick it? That's not how you do it.
No, I've done that with Wiz or like MD.
Right, just rub it on your
MD.
teeth.
Well,
No, you just lick it. Like, it's
Just
the
lick
same
it.
as taking a tablet. A tablet's like...
yeah, but the
you know,
first because I can't swallow pills. Like I can't even take like medicine like Panadol pills.
You just go... Ugh,
And
like
I was given a pill at some initiation for an old band, but I couldn't swallow the pill, so I chewed it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I chewed it. Like
It's kind of gross, though.
and
You
then
have to wash
like the
it.
rest of the night, I'm just like grinding my teeth. Like
Yeah, so that's
in your eyes.
that is what happens, man. Like that doesn't happen with proper MDMA, like
Right.
pure like stuff. And to be honest, I think I've only had that once, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, the caps and
if,
things that-
If I could get it, like if I knew people
Yeah.
that were reputable, I'd probably
Yeah,
do pure MDMA.
That is really like important. Like, see, like I said, I was not a drug type person, and I'm not now. I think I've got just that philosophy of use them maybe to move forward, like
spiritually.
So, yeah, well, without being wanky or like. Emotionally and, mentally and stuff, it can help if you're using it like that. But for using it for escapism on such a regular basis, I don't think that's a good
It's
idea.
a slippery slope when you do it for that for those reasons, yeah. But they can be extremely beneficial for
Oh, dude, okay.
just like expanding or kind of skewing that angle that you usually view your life through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of giving you that kind of that objective perspective that you wouldn't have had.
So, like, yeah, I mean... And
or you just freak out and have a panic attack.
yeah. Man, see, I always thought, there was that element of, like, immense fear, and I also didn't like what drugs were doing to, like, the youth in general, right? Because, I mean, they're all escaping, and we've got a massive drug epidemic for the youth in WA at the moment. But, whenever I heard acid or mushrooms and things like that, I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Right? But, so I started antidepressants like 2.5 years ago. I'm finally off them properly now, which is good. Like the first month, like just recently, was fucking horrible.
What were you on?
Lexapro.
Lexapro.
Right? So that was for like anti-anxiety and sleep aid type stuff. And that was something that like was really difficult to stop, but it wasn't as hard as like something like Prestige, which I wasn't on for as long, but that was fucked. Like,
See, I always got taught that the best way to overcome like anxiety and that sort of sleep stuff is just have a wank.
we'll say,
No, have a wank before bed.
we'll say that's what.
Such an idiot.
No, it's true.
No, but it is true.
It doesn't kill.
It doesn't work. I have a
chronic-
wank and then I want to have another wank because it feels good.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Well, it does
help.
does feel good.
Then I stay awake and then I'm like, oh.
If it's like,
I'm awake now. I might as well have another wank.
Yeah.
if it's chronic depression, it's not going to help.
No, see, to be honest, though, I actually only have a wank now if I really need to get to sleep.
Yeah.
Now that
it puts you out straight away.
Yeah. So without going too far off track, and we'll get to that. No, because it is a thing, right?
Yeah.
But no, psychedelics in themselves, I always thought that I'd freak the fuck out and all this stuff because, like, there's those inner insecurities. You think I'm a loser or something. I'm just going to, like, be hell weird or whatever. But Lexapro, in a weird way, at that particular time in my life, I had a lot of, like, party goers around me. And I was trying to embrace this whole Benno thing and, like, had, like, cool, beautiful, like, indie-type people always around. And, I mean, if anyone brought up drugs, I'd still be laughing at the time. But then I started taking Lexapro, and all of a sudden the fear of what would happen to me or how am I going to be just disappeared. So the first time I ever did acid, I started taking mushrooms. I took it with, like, my girlfriend at the time that only lasted 2 weeks, typical me at the time. But she was, like, very, like, spiritual type person or whatever. Like, much younger. She was, like, 17 at the time. I was...
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, I was at a bad state.
Yeah.
But, you know, so... I did that with her and this other chick, and that was hell fun, right? Mushrooms for the first time. We walked up to like Kings Park, and everything looked like kind of like a video game, or it felt that way. But then I was just smashing mushrooms like any chance I could get. I was like, "This is fucking amazing, thank you." But like. It's just like weird things. It's not so much when you look back at the memory of these things. It's not so much that it was so warped. It's just everything felt a different way. Like, so when I first saw a tree on mushrooms, it was fucking mental. I was just like, that is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
What did it look like?
It was like, now that I'm looking back in my memory, it was a fucking tree. It's a tree. It's just a tree. But it just felt so much more beautiful. And so, you know how sometimes it's just the way you feel about certain things. It changes your perspective.
Yep.
I don't know. It just looked more beautiful. Like when you look at these twinkly lights, they're quite beautiful to look at. Right? And it just did that about a tree. It just made it feel so much more profound or whatever. But then a couple of weeks later, like after that, when I started doing a bit more research about these kind of things, I was like, look, I want to try acid, because they were saying it's not very different. They're different in very interesting ways. So mushrooms, they will make you feel heaps more like earthy, spiritual, kind of like connected. It's weird, right? So I instantly became like a hippie overnight. I started wearing like fucking
tie-dye.
Yeah, literally. Like literally, man, overnight. Oh, look, little mouse.
For
you
real?
see it?
No.
Oh, it was a little cute mouse.
We got rats in here?
No, it was a little mouse.
A little mouse?
I fucking love mice.
Are you tripping out right now?
No, dude, I saved a little baby mouse the other day.
There are mice in here?
Is there a mouse in here? What, in the room?
No, yeah, he went towards the door.
We got to get a cat in here.
Did he go out of the door?
No, he went behind that blue thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So cute.
Anyway, go on.
So cute.
I want a pet mouse anyway, so I'll catch him.
Yeah, they're beautiful, man. I saved this one mouse that got chewed by the dog, and it was dying, right? And I put it on a plate. It was a little baby mouse. And I will get back to the story. I've learned how to not go too far off track. But I feel like this is going to be the main topic, and then we'll just keep deviating. This little mouse, and it got chewed by the dog, and I was like, it just wasn't moving on the carpet, so I picked him up. I think. I gave.
You didn't pick it up by the tail and check?
Yeah, no, I gave it a female name. I forgot what it was though, which is so mean. But anyway, I put it on a plate, a white plate, and she was bleeding, right? And was so in shock. And I was like, I tried to get like little pieces of banana, took it off the skin of a banana, and like tried to feed it. It wasn't having that. Yeah. It was just like, I'm too fucking in shock, cunt. Like, so I put some like toilet paper to try and absorb some of the blood, and then I was like, fuck, that's going to be drawing out the blood from it. It's going to be feeling worse. So I put like a little drop of water. Anyway, this poor mouse was not having life too well. So what I did in the end, I don't know if this is fucked up, but I went and got some like codeine. Right, and I got like a little needle and scraped it off the tablet just to make a little bit, and mixed it with the water, and it ate it, so to get rid of its pain, and it will knock it out and it will die. Yeah. But it was going to die anyway. And then I made this little tiny bed, and I've got this cool kind of like balcony thing with like all this fake grass on it. It looks like a little pop-up festival, like hell wanky, but beautiful.
I literally just saw it run past your feet.
There you go.
Holy fuck.
Did you really?
There's literally a mouse in here.
There you go.
Where?
They're so
cute.
It
just ran past the salt lamp.
Yeah, there you go, little mouse.
That's creepy. Anyway, go on.
It's the studio mouse. And She passed away in the sunlight at my favourite time of the day, which is the golden hour, like 5:30.
Yeah.
She passed away. I buried her. Forgotten her name. It was like Betty or something.
Sandra.
It was some dumb name like that.
Anyway, if we find this mouse, I'm calling him Mr. Biggles.
There you go.
Mr. Biggles.
But anyway, I was actually going to say, I have had mushrooms before.
Okay.
It was when I was working down in Bunbury Groove in the Moo.
Oh, there you go.
Because I was doing... I was doing the band riders there. And so we went back because a mate of mine that lives in Bunbury was sort of kind of over the road from where they have the Groove in the Moo festival. Mm-hmm. And we went back there and he had made a pizza and he put some mushroom stuff on it. But I didn't get anything from it. I think they're probably dead mushrooms.
Well, see, yeah, look, the last time...
Unless because I went back to the festival, I went back to work afterwards when Luke Steele, what's their band?
Empire of the Sun.
Empire of the Sun, they were playing.
Well, that would have been
I couldn't tell
dude.
if I was tripping out or not because it was just Empire of the Sun.
Dude, yeah. That's a weird thing. Sometimes you're always questioning, am I seeing this because I'm tripping out?
Yeah.
Or is this actually just spectacular?
That's yeah.
It's a difficult thing. So, look, we'll go back. So mushrooms, they will make you feel like super spiritual pretty much overnight, like if you have a decent trip. But, you'll just notice like the sparkle in the blacks of people's eyes and stuff. And it's just like, fuck, it's like quite beautiful. And it gives me usually like this feeling of me being in like a mushroom fairy forest. But acid, on the other hand, is like digital as fuck. It's so weird. I remember one time, like maybe the second time I ever did it, I was seeing JPEG artifacts on everything.
Right.
And like, not from like
glitches and pixelations and
I
stuff.
could see like, when a JPEG image is compressed, I was fully seeing it like, and it's not like a hallucination type thing. It's just like your brain perceiving things in a different way. And it's interesting because, digital stuff is a human creation anyway. So I found that like really interesting. But yeah, acid, on the other hand, it will really make you like think about society like really differently, or like just how people are, and the machine, or like it's like the Matrix a little bit. You start seeing the world as a little bit more like the Matrix, for me personally anyway. But if you do it with a mate that you're good mates with, like if you two did it together. The first time I ever did it was with my mate. The first time he ever did it too, Patrick, right? And we ended up doing it a lot after that, like every 2 weeks, which is when the tolerance goes down. But we went to a club night, like in Mandurah, like Hooch, right? And that was so good. I didn't recognise Sam Ma. I was like, when it first started kicking in, I was like, and nothing beats that first time, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It was, everything feels like you're in a fucking Hollywood movie.
Right.
Like, it is awesome. Like,
because people say they see trails and things like that. There's a lot of visual distortion.
Yeah, see, it's visual...
spatial, like, awareness.
Like, okay, so the rooms you're in and stuff is weird. You'll always feel like if you're in a room, so, like, for example, now, if there were no one downstairs, like, which we know there are, you'd always feel like there's some, like, about 5 or 6 people outside the room, like, having ciggies and, like... ready to come in, even though there aren't. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like
maybe there are.
That's a SWAT team outside getting ready to bust in.
Yeah, like I mean, I was at my house, like chilling with my ex-girlfriend at the time or whatever, and we like took sugar cubes for the first time.
Wow,
and that was like that feeling, like just outside in the driveway. I felt like there was some. It feels like you're at a party when you're not.
Well, I've heard people that take acid together say they'll like split up from the party, they'll go their separate ways.
Yeah.
But occasionally throughout the night, they'll catch each other's eye.
Yeah.
And they'll both be like, connected.
Yeah, that does
There's
happen.
There's like a hive consciousness that develops
absolutely.
when you're on acid.
So me and my friend Patrick, like pretty much any festival we go to now, we will take acid. Like, I hate public stuff a lot anyway. Like, I love entertaining or being funny and like trying to be that guy in the room that's like, the party's here because Ben's here. You know, it's just part of my ego or whatever. But acid is really good for getting rid of that ego kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
that's why they call it acid.
Well, why?
It dissolves the ego.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously I didn't know that. Yeah. Right? I thought it was just because it is an acid, the compound.
And everything that... that too, yeah. But it also, like, it dissolves, like, the foundations that you think with.
Oh, definitely, man.
And it's weird that, like, everything legal inflates the
Isn't
ego.
that interesting? Hey,
Yeah,
you look at
coffee.
you look at Roseanne now. She's just on prescription medication. She's fucked. It's like bath salts, man, and it's so sad to see.
Yeah,
you know?
it steals your soul, man. And things like alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine. It's weird that they are fine with that.
But I find it
To an
funny. You
extent.
said like if me and Daryl took it together, we'd have a good trip because I actually
You
I
piss
dragged
yourself laughing at first.
I dragged Daryl down a bad trip on weed the other weekend.
Oh man, see, look,
That's how bad just on weed. Like that's how lightweight we are. We get bad trips on weed.
Do you want to explain what happened?
Oh well, so we're out at Badlands for the Friday 13th gig, and I hadn't had any weed for like fucking 8 months because I've been away for work and shit.
So,
and I thought, no, this is going to be good night. I always said to myself, I need to be in a good headspace before I have some weed. And I was at Badlands, good crew, people that I knew. This is going to be good. So we had a doobie, and the whole night was, felt that uplifting. I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good place, and slowly it just went. And it just spun out of control.
Usually it takes just one thought.
I forgot about. I had this subconscious thing in my mind that just came to the top and just turned the night upside down so badly that it actually projected onto Daryl, and he got fucking all creeped out as well.
Well, see, that could have just been bad weed, man. It's like sometimes it's really.
That's true too.
Well, see, what I think, like for me personally, and it's because of that fact. Yeah, like I was saying before, weed is my only regret drug-wise, right?
Yeah, right.
But I did, when I was like 21, 22, I was like an all-day, everyday type stoner, which both my brothers are at the moment. But they're like great guys, but I can also see that in a way being restricting. I never had any anxieties or second guessing of like myself and feeling comfortable. I never had any memory issues or motivational issues.
Till you smoked weed.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I agree with that.
But how old were you when you first started smoking weed?
17.
Yeah, I must have been about 15, I think.
I was about 13, 14.
Oh, you fucking terrible.
But it's if there's anything that I regret.
Regret.
All of this is.
Why are we saying regret?
We're saying regret. I don't know. My only regret about weed is that I probably had it too early.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I'm the same.
Because I think it's fine in your 30s when your brain's like fully formed.
It's that fully formed
You kind of
thing.
know who you are.
See, I didn't do acid until I was 25, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm happy with the drug use that I did do.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was still like in the thick of it, I feel like my friends tried to reach out a few times. They were kind of like, dude, you're like a bit of a cock now.
Yeah.
And see, I didn't realize that. And a lot of people that are on drugs, you don't realize that kind of thing. But I see it now. But it didn't really do anything permanent, which I'm really happy about, especially with Dexies most of my life, man. I see people that do them for a year and they're just fucked, man. Maybe it's because I had it since I was really young. I understood the ins and outs, and you can stop lying to yourself about, the certain effects that it has.
I feel like I unlocked a portal in my brain that was not quite mature enough to handle it. So my first experience on weed was really traumatic.
Yeah, okay.
I felt like I was in a movie and I couldn't get out, and like things were playing out in front of me that I had no control over. So I'd move into a room and be like, man, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And it felt really like a bad lucid dream nightmare. You know those bad lucid dreams where you're like, man, I can't. What if I'm kind of stuck here forever?
You
get that when you're really high? You start questioning.
And the first time you ever get too drunk as well, you're like, how long is this going to last?
Yeah, I want to die. I'm never going to drink again.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It's more the, what if I don't come back from this? I've gone too far.
That's what happened to me like the last 2 times when I greened out, right? So the first time, man, it was a nice fat cone. I think it was only like 1 cone, right, of like something, but it was pretty strong, I would say. But I was used to that at that time. But maybe I'd had a little break for a couple of weeks, and I was chilling with my ex at the time, and I completely forgot who she was. I didn't know who I was at the time, and I just kept feeling like I was in hell, right? And the second time it happened, I knew what was going on. I was like, fuck, I'm going to green out. And I just tried to run to the bathroom. Bathroom? It's toilet. And now the American...
The water closet.
I tried to run to the bathroom. And
so I tried to run to the bathroom.
And I didn't make it out of my room, man. Vomited everywhere. And it's just
for
like
real?
and I'd just be vomiting for hours, just lying on the floor and then getting up.
I get a weird sugar crash Do you know when you like your lips go pale and you feel faint, and you like when you haven't had enough sugar or you haven't eaten all day?
Okay,
I get that. Then I get like cold sweats.
Oh yeah, the cold sweats.
And then I green out. Then I'm like, I've got to lie down or something. I can't be in public.
I remember what you were saying when, like, because when I had the heroic dose of the
heroic dose?
the cake, the little the brownie.
Oh, the ones that Brad made.
Yeah, because I wasn't thinking. I thought I had a brownie, and it's a chocolate brownie. And I was fucking, this is nice.
Yeah.
I ate the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
and watched a documentary on quantum entanglement, and then tried to go to bed, and I had a cold, like a sore throat and shit.
Yeah,
and I know, like, I got into that mindset, like, could this be permanent? Like, I knew that I was fucking high. I knew that I was freaking out. I'm like, what if I don't come back? Like, what if I don't turn
Isn't
back?
Isn't that weird how we've all had that same thing? So when I green out, I have that too. I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is me now. I'm permanently retarded. Like, I've gone too far. I've cooked it, and like I'm fucked.
Yeah, but, you burnt the toast. Like, it's gone way too far. But here's the weird thing. You always come back.
The next day you're just like, wow, that was
every
fun.
Time. You're fine.
Every time.
There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
it's your own ego fucking with you.
But
that's the lesson.
Do you find that you feel a bit stronger after that?
Yes.
Like mentally
I
and
feel more
even
refreshed.
physically, you just kind of like your body's almost been through something so traumatic and you've survived it. It's like, yes.
That's how I feel DMT is going to be for me. Like, I've put aside a time in the future to do that because I've heard a lot about it. And then my brothers are like, because I'm on the arse end now. I'm kind of done with recreational stuff. I'll drink like now, like, but it's more in balance. Because it used to be like, it was very difficult for me to be in public and stuff. Just in general, it's just difficult. Everyone's full of shit. So you may as well join in with those bullshit banters of like, hey, good to see you, mate. We should catch up. And like, thinking everyone thinks you're great when you're just a tosser like everyone else in the same state. So that's difficult enough. But I think I will do DMT. My brothers have both done it. My dad's done it, and I think my granddad did before he died. Dad made him do it.
You got some pretty awesome relatives.
What are you going to say to them?
What do you mean?
When you take DMT, what are you going to say to them?
I don't know.
That's the thing.
See, I don't know. I'm terrified, but to be honest, I was terrified of acid in the same sense. So it's another one of those mental hurdles.
Just going back to what you were literally about to say.
Yeah, because I've heard like stories about DMT become mind-boggling and about almost connecting with beings of some other kind. And it's funny, like, you think, oh, maybe it's just one person's trip, but almost every story I've heard, different things, people talk about seeing and talking to these beings of some kind.
There's a couple, there's three. There's one that's a green fairy, and people think she's like Gaia or Mother Earth. And then there's a second one that's a blue fairy. And she's in charge of something else, like emotions and stuff. But a lot of people talk about these little black shadow-looking
well, people like refer aliens. They almost just say, they look like aliens.
No, like little, do you know, like the seven dwarves? Like how they kind of walk in unison and they sing. They reckon that, like, collectively, hundreds, thousands of people talk about these little elves that are in this DMT trip, and they are, like, in charge of the simulation. So they hold up this reality.
That's where it gets strange, is when people, like different people, unrelated in any way, different parts of the world and shit, can have this same trip. Like almost seeing the same thing. That's where you start to think, is it something, obviously not in their minds, is it something in the drug? And what is it in the drug? Like, what is making this shit happen? Like,
so this is something that I feel like for a lot of drug people, if they can't, like, acid did this to me. It made, like, I've become a fuckload less religious and a fuckload less spiritual in the weirdest way, like, because they're meant to do all that stuff to you. And I was a very spiritual type person. I feel like I'm spiritual in some sense, but it's gone down to science now. Now I'm trying to pick apart, like, why we want to read into things a little bit more. And at the end of the day, it's a chemical reaction in your brain. So if, like, with acid and things like that, like, I'm noticing certain things, but and at first with psychedelics, it does make you all of a sudden, like, be like physically, like, literally perceptive to this other realm. And I'm not saying that there aren't these multiple realities, because scientifically it has to be a thing. Because for what we know, like, and just physics, right? The universe is infinite, like, and time and everything is infinite. It is going and it's not going, like at the quickest strobe at the speed of infinity, right? But these things, they are chemical reactions, so there must be something built into. It fucks, It fucks with our what we like, the laws that are inbuilt in us from a young age. So it must be some.
It's like connecting with the underlying structure that's built into every single.
In the exact same way that we green out, thinking, "Will this last forever?" Some similar thing is hitting the same thing. Whether we all know that a green stoplight is green, like that chemical may fuck with some certain law in our head and give us some different outcome. So I truly don't believe that we are seeing other beings. It's in our imagination. It is a lucid dream, and for the most part, what are you going to expect, right? So I've never done DMT. I've never read too much into the stories, but I'd expect that I'm going to see some religious figures, because that's all I know, right? Some divine beings. I'd expect that I'd be at some like really high fucking mountain or something, overlooking some vast plain with like lights and colours and things, and then like these people will somehow talk to me in some language I don't understand, but I'll feel like I understand it. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm envisioning is going to happen. But my brothers, they said like probably very similar things. I don't know, like one said he can see all the energy going up in a tree, and it's probably true to a certain degree.
A lot of people say geometric shapes, like, you know, like grids appearing. You know the end of Lateralis by Tool? You know that video?
No.
Where it's like, you know, Alex Gray. That artwork.
Well, the porn star.
Not Sasha. Sasha Grey.
No, there's
an Alex Gray.
Alex Gray.
Oh, thank God,
fuck yeah.
What the fuck?
I've got her on Instagram and Twitter. And
everything. No way.
Fuck,
Here I am trying to be deep.
On my,
and you're talking about
Chrome history browser.
Dude. Man, it's funny though. Ever since I've started Dexies and Lexapro and stuff, I don't watch porn anymore, and I only wank if it's like 1 week, and I know that I'll probably have a wet dream if I don't. And
well, that's it sounds so lame to talk about masturbation that way, but I think porn is bad, man.
It is. Well,
because
it is in the long run,
In the long run, yes.
Yeah.
In the short term, it's probably okay if you rub one out every now and
I
again,
prefer now to, like, if I do need a wank, I'll use my imagination on some chick that I think's super hot.
The problem is the chase for dopamine. Because what you're doing is you want immediate satisfaction. Sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, I don't even feel horny. But I'm like, my hand just starts...
your hand goes into your pants, just like
no, but it's like a muscle memory where you're like, man, I've got a spare moment, I'll rub one out, you know, and you're like, wait, I don't even need to do this. I'm not even actually horny.
See, I've my libido, like, and it's probably from porn and stuff like that. When I am on Dexies and stuff, it's pure dopamine rushes, right? So I quit Dexies and Lexapro at the same time, so that was something that was giving me serotonin, and like, which is contentment, I guess, overall, right? And then something that's giving me rewards for nothing. So that was really difficult to stop both at once. But it's like now I don't seem to chase that dopamine. I don't eat cheeses and stuff. So people that like, see, they release dopamine in your brain.
Absolutely.
Cheese is actually one of the best things to have before bed. If you want wicked dreams and you want to remember your dreams, you eat cheese and chocolate. Fuck, I'll actually grab a block of cheese. I'll cut off a whole block of cheese and just munch that down before
Interestingly, if I would take Dexies before I'd go to sleep, I'd have a similar thing. So it's dopamine, you know? But I think like porn, that may be why I don't really have a libido now. And for the first time actually in my life, where like I've gone through all these changes and all this acid and stuff, and now I've come off antidepressants like properly, and I'm not on amphetamines, and I'm not excessively drinking all the time and stuff like that. I feel very clear. I just don't have a libido now, but usually I'd always be very, very hungry for the company of other people, specifically girls. Like whether and it never was necessarily sex unless I was on Dexies. Okay, so I'm hearing a phone.
If you can drop
that might be yours because it's closer to the unit.
No, the music channels. That's what it is. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah, so it's really interesting. It may be porn. But see, like, porn isn't firing it off for me anymore.
See, I can't talk about that because I opened up my phone the other day and my Chrome browser had 26 tabs open. 15 of them were Pornhub.
Yeah. No, that does happen.
No,
man.
it's true.
And
I think like 5 of them were Alex Gray as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like, she was great, like, about a year and a half
Who
ago.
the fuck is Alex Gray?
Is
it a girl?
Beautiful. She's beautiful, but
No, it's a guy. I got like 5. I've got 5 Alex.
Alexander Gray.
Alexander Gray.
There you go. Okay, there we go. Alex Gray.
Oh, what a little fucking...
Yeah, she's pretty hot, man.
Yeah.
You know, but see, when you're in that dopamine fucking thing, you go to the most grotesque and deep kind of stuff. And like, you want more and more, and you end up with 20 tabs. But see, that would only happen to me if I was on Dexy.
I have to go to the toilet now.
I don't watch porn otherwise. Yeah, but see, like, I just don't, and it doesn't trigger me either. So I'm feeling oddly really asexual at the moment, but at the same time, my friends always have told me, because I end up with kind of like turbulent relationships, you know, and I feel like that's where I was in a stage in my life where that's what I was attracting, you know, and that was my comfort zone, and I'm being happy on my own in that sense, which is what my friends always said that I should give a shot to.
I have a big issue with being obsessive in relationships.
Yeah, see, it's really difficult sometimes because
I am that person with everything that I love.
Yeah.
Like, I get really obsessive. Yeah. But it's fucking unhealthy. You can't go into a relationship obsessive.
Well, exactly.
Yes and no. Depends on the person who you're in a relationship with.
Well,
like,
see,
some people like almost enjoy it, sort of obsessive. It's kind of like a bit of like an ego thing.
Yeah.
Where for them to think that there's someone that's so involved. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's unhealthy for the person that's obsessing, I think. Well, because you're placing happiness in a person. Yeah, that's very dangerous.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So I feel like, look, relationships, there's no denying it, right? For my understanding of what a relationship should be, I mean, obviously different relationships work for different people. I see true love in fucking absolute meth heads at the train station. Yeah. And it's just like, how the fuck? Like, they're never separating. They would never cheat on each other. They're just like this couple. That's like weird true love, right? You'll see it sometimes. I don't know. You see those weird Darrow couples. The guy's like 35 riding a push bike and the girl's just like, come on, oi, you gone too fast, cunt. You know, like, you know, that it's weird. You see like this weird true love, right? Yeah. And it just depends on where you're at in life, right? So for me, my relationships were my comfort zone. They were everything to me, right? But it stopped me from developing myself, and I feel like your relationship should complement your already founded lifestyle, you know? And they should definitely help you grow. But see, if you're too early on, you do get obsessive, which I do as well, man. It's like if I have an argument or I feel like I'm breaking up or we have broken up, I literally cannot sleep. I'm just up for days, like with this hole in my chest. Yeah. It's like, are they texting someone else? Like, what's going on? And he's stalking all their stuff.
You get so irrational.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Especially with Dexies, it's fucked. Yeah. Like, you start thinking of everything, and then you shouldn't message them, and then you'll message them a fucking like.
Well, that's kind of what sparked my paranoid delusion. The other week was that kind of but I mean, like, I'll admit me and my partner have a very healthy sexual relationship. Yeah. But I still find myself opening up porn and having a bat.
Yeah. But say like,
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but
that's completely normal, and she'd probably do the same thing. You know, like it just like it's a different experience though. Like, a good love sex is dope as shit. Like, I miss those times. You know, probably even with my first girlfriend when I was really young. It's just like, I hate it now, and she's real ugly to me now. Like, not my style, but like, good luck to her. But like, you know, like, we're almost crying at some emotional, spiritual thing. Yeah, right. That's dope, right? But you know, sometimes if it's not really that good like that, you know, having a wank sometimes is better.
Yeah,
you know,
less drama and crying involved. Or more crying, depending on how you wank. That's something that I struggled with as well. Yeah, but you're right. I think you should be, you know, kind of at a good place, and then you attract the right person. It just happens. I think the best relationships are when you feel like you've had no control over how it came about. I love those ones.
I now, like, before, especially in like my last kind of period, right? So I never really had sex with many people when I was, 24 or something. The Benno shit, I'd love one, thank you. The Benno shit happened. All of a sudden, I felt real good about myself. I was smashing Dexies again. I was egotistical as fuck. I was looking gorgeous. But, had the long hair, and all of a sudden, because for some reason, chicks just love long hair. It's this fucking thing at the moment. Skinny guys with long hair, man, and a bit of, chuck on some general pants shit, and they're just like, oh my God, it's so funny. And now, when I put on the weight and I cut my hair off, all of a sudden the same people are just like, oh, good to see you, buddy. It's weird. And, but... when at that particular time when all of a sudden I was trying to have sex with more people because I thought it was a cool thing, and I looked up to one of my friends, who that was his thing, and he was real cool about it and everything. Yeah. I came at to this realization. I was like, man, the best relationship should start off with good sex. Why wait and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm in that mindset now of it should happen naturally, and I think for me, it's very awkward though. Sex is quite. I think when you know someone for ages, and then it comes down to sex, and it's been built up too long, so I lose my erection instantly. And it's.
I don't know if I should tell the story.
You get gun shy because there's too much pressure.
Well, absolutely.
That's what happened to me. Me and my partner, we had known each other for such a long time, and I'd sort of built that idea up in my head. The first time we got together,
it's going to be fireworks.
Fireworks. It was not. It was not.
If you want me to sit there and lick puss for ages, that's fine. But then they're like, oh fuck me, and it's just like, I actually, oh no, I feel a bit sick or something. But in your head, when you're
nah, you just wait, but really you're trying to get hard. You're like, oh, I'm ready for you. Yeah. Just give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes.
The excuses that you come up with on top of it as to why this isn't working, they're gorgeous.
But really, you're freaking out because you love them.
You love them.
You love them. That's why the pressure's on. Oh, that's why you can't get it up.
And you want to be the best you can be.
But that's the thing, because sex is actually a very important thing in a relationship.
It is.
Of course. You could love someone's personality so much. But if they suck in bed, then it's kind of
if there's no connection, there's no chemistry.
And it's not necessarily because look, sometimes when I've had good chemistry, man, I feel like I'm the best fuck in the world, and I'm sure you guys would feel that same way as well.
I am the best fuck in the world.
Well, see, there you go, right?
I'm definitely not.
Well, no, but see, when the chemistry isn't that good, I have been genuinely fucking horrible to the point I won't come. I'll probably lose my erection. I just feel so embarrassed, and I just pretend I'm really tired. Yeah. And they're beautiful or whatever. Love them as people and stuff, but the chemistry just isn't there, or I'm feeling like I'm forcing something that I shouldn't. It's I feel like I should be having sex for the sake of it. Yeah. And I truly believe. I hope that they say that the most. Statistically, the best relationships that last and the longest marriages are partnerships in business. So if it's a husband and wife doing some, I don't know, candle making business, anything that's a typical low end, self-employed kind of family business. They usually work out, which makes a lot of sense because your goals are aligned. Yeah, I find that when you're arguing about things that aren't, what to paint the child's room or where to put your money. That's probably more healthy kind of arguments. But if you're arguing over how that other person made you feel in a certain situation, look, there's some leeway, but it's kind of that's as hard as it is to let go sometimes, and it is fucking hard, right? That someone just killed themselves because I heard that.
What was that?
For those listeners, there was some big vibration. I'm pretty sure it was a gunshot sound. No, it is difficult, but you shouldn't be arguing over how someone made you feel. And for me, it's really important that I feel like I'm with my family when I'm with my partner. Yeah. And how are you going, sir?
Holy crap!
Holy shit! How you doing, man?
Brendan.
Life,
Yeah.
Benno, this is Brendan.
How you going, Brendan?
How you doing, man?
How you doing, Brendan? There's actually a mic there if you want to.
What, here?
Yeah.
Mic there.
Just sit down.
All right.
It might be a bit weird because you won't have headphones, so you'll have to hear what you can hear?
We can find.
Is it Brendan? Brendan? Is it?
Brendan.
Yeah, it's Brendan. Yeah.
Does Brendan want to sit here? I can go over there.
No, man. That's all right. We'll swap in a sec.
You want to get out from where that big divot is there,
What?
It's like there's more room over here, if you get me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you stand up, you're going to smack your head, do you know what I mean? And if I go over there...
Oh, yeah.
I'm on to you, man. Like,
you're taller, though, so you'll be fucked.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'll come give everyone a fist bump first.
Fuck yeah.
No worries, mate.
Brendan's actually, he's been on the podcast before
Good
as well.
seeing you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
But Brendan's never seen this setup with the cameras, have you?
Not with the
No,
cameras.
you popped in at the hen house, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in the hen house, and I've been here before, but not done a podcast.
Yeah, wicked, man.
We did all that stuff. Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
We're recording right now.
You just interrupted the show, man.
No, we're kidding, we're
I was
kidding.
talking to the guys downstairs in that like post grungy post.
Who shot themselves?
No, we heard the door slam, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, wicked, man. For people that don't know, it's your birthday when this comes out.
Yeah, well, maybe if I get it done in
birthday,
time.
Johnny.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking old.
How old are you turning?
27.
27.
Now, how old?
34.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, I'm fucking old.
You're older as well. You're like 30 now.
I'm like 32.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Man, we're all pretty youthful. You know?
Well, you can't tell with Asians.
Well,
they
how
just
old are you,
never
man?
know.
Yeah, they just all blend,
I know.
man.
Wait, Benno, how old are you, man?
I'm 27.
Oh well, shut the front door. Like,
Why, how old do you think I was?
no, just because you're all like, yeah, we're all pretty youthful, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, like. You're pretty youthful. I don't know about the rest of us, like...
Yeah, no, like, man, see, that always blows
Yeah.
my mind, because I always think that you're like my age. You
Oh,
know?
for real?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when I first met you, how the fuck did we first meet?
It was Carl Fox.
Really?
Yeah, man.
That's how we first met.
Yeah, because I went to SAE.
Oh, and that's when you met Carl,
Yeah.
and then you...
It was Good Little Fox, and you were
Yeah.
drumming.
Yep.
And then
I need to...
you had like some mate. It could have been him. I don't know, but you
Why?
had another mate that was always clad in leather.
Because you're going to have to get back on it, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all good.
I think I might know who that is. I can't remember.
I don't know, but you used to always rock
Sweet,
around with
I
him. He was
bought
another
drinks, I'm
cool
all good.
bloke, you know.
Yeah, another cool bloke.
And you'd always like just rock up to gigs or amps or whatever. I'd be like, Daz, how you going, mate? Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. But then you were in Blood, and then you were in Tim and John for a bit. That was weird. It was so surreal being on stage with you
Oh yeah.
at Parkland.
Yeah, I know.
Remember
That was ridiculous though.
Yeah.
Like, but to be like, you know, to my credit,
Yeah.
I can't believe I fucking pulled that together in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even down to getting Jaylan.
'Cause we
Because
had,
I didn't
like-
have lyrics.
We had 8 people in the fucking band.
It was
right?
9.
It was 9.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
9.
What are you guys, like, Slipknot or something?
Yeah.
But no, like I think I was like inspired a little bit by Browhorn, because like they had a lot, like Nick Owen, man, like that was a great band, but they had a lot of people on stage, and I was like, yeah. I could do that. Fuck no, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was difficult, but
Then they consolidated. They kind of halved the band,
yeah.
right? The Brow?
And funnily enough, I'm pretty sure on Blood's last gig, right?
Yeah.
Nick Owen did a review of Blood, and he ripped the shit out of us. And see, I didn't know, and we worked together at Apple, and one day he come up and he's like, yeah, hey man, I'm Nick, whatever. I'm like, cool. Like, he's like, yeah, I play in the Browhorn. I was like, no way. I used to do this band called Blood, but like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, cool. And then like, we used to hang out sometimes, because like he'd DJ or whatever, we'd go to the Avery after work.
Yeah.
And he'd come up to me, man, and it was like, and I love this. Like, he comes up, he's like, man, look, you're actually a good bloke. I'm really sorry, but I have to admit something. I did a review one time of Blood, Good Vibrations, and I was being an absolute asshole, and I'm sorry. And I look back at it, and I don't think it's that bad, but at the time I was like, this cunt hates me.
Yeah.
Like,
It sucks, man. Have you guys got any bad reviews?
no, but he's a great guy. It's just like,
Yeah, I've had, like, horrible reviews. Like, mostly, the worst reviews I find are from, like, just random people online. You know, those self-appointed, like, reviewers and stuff?
Yeah.
And they just, like... Do you remember there used to be this website called Sign Me to Roadrunner Records? So, like, a couple of years ago, they tried to...
Sounds so desperate.
very specific.
Yeah.
You know, because so what it was like, it was sort of like, it was supposed to be like a social media platform for like bands. So you'd start a profile and you'd have to sign in, and like you'd be like linked up with everyone else on Sign Me to Roadrunner Records. And the idea being that like all these metal artists and heavy artists would sign up, do their own profile, upload their music, and then they'd get reviewed by the other people on the platform and stuff. So like other bands, and there was like, you could either sign up as an artist or A&R person who worked at Roadrunner or as a fan, right? So the worst reviews you'd get would be from like fans in quotations and stuff, and like one guy like just ripped into it. Might not have been on this site, but I remember it vividly because one guy basically like just ripped into the whole band, was saying that we were like the solos were out of key. It was just terrible. We were like my vocals were like a shitty hate breed. Yeah, but it gets worse. And then he was like, I hope your vocalist gets throat cancer and dies.
Whoa!
And like I'd read like shitty reviews before that, right? And this was for our first album, 11 Past, and like, you know, it's not the greatest. It's all right. The songs are okay, but the recordings and the performances weren't the greatest, if I'm 100% honest. But you know, you're reading all these reviews and you sort of take it to heart. But the day I read that review, I hope your vocalist gets throat cancer and dies, it was sort of like just broke it all for me, because it was just like, who gives a fuck?
Where
Like,
was that?
do you know what I mean? It was just so over the top ridiculous that it was like, I just stopped paying attention to it all. So I was like, whatever, man. Because we got some positive reviews as well. And we had Monty Connor from Roadrunner Records actually reviewed our shit. Gave it a sort of middle of the range. He liked our name. He liked the name All This Filth, but... Yeah, so, I mean, that was the worst review I've ever had. Like, I hope the vocalist gets throat cancer and dies. But since then, it's like, nobody can say anything worse than that. It's like, who gives a shit, you know? Like,
it desensitizes you in a way.
That's what I'm saying. When it broke it was just like, well, nobody can say anything worse than that. And from now on, like, every time I get a bad review, I'm like, whatever. At least he didn't tell me to get throat cancer and die. You know what I mean? Like,
The question is, did you get throat cancer and are you about to die?
not as far as I know. But
well, he's not a prophet. There you go. So he's wrong.
Yeah, this was years ago. This is years. We've done like another release since then, and we got another one on the way. So
beautiful.
You know, so
I haven't released a song in 10 years.
Oh well, it's all good.
You know, I'm still going through all the like, you know, I was saying this to someone the other day. Like, it was a chick that's in a metal band who I always try and hit up because I think she's cute, but you know, it's like I'm not saying.
Okay.
But anyway,
tell us.
that's weird. But anyway,
wait, how's it weird?
No, but see, that's the thing.
It's
like,
okay
we all
to
get,
like someone.
No, but see, like, I like a lot of people randomly. You know, it's I don't know. But anyway, I in the end, like, I came to this conclusion. It's like, if you're going to be like a musician that does well, you know, the whole package isn't necessarily like the look and all that stuff, although it is important. Decent logo and like decent team, but you got to equally practice your mental skills, like your personal skills, just as important as learning your instrument or your craft, you know, in that scene. Like, you know, because you might be a perfectionist or you might be shit and not know it. So having that ability to learn, you know, and adapt and things like that are equally just as important as the instruments and the music itself.
Yeah.
So,
you know?
yeah, like resilience, basically.
Yeah, like,
you basically
there are a
need to
lot
learn
of
that.
things, man. There are a lot of things to take into account, you know, with who you are as a person. That's why when you look at certain artists like Bowie or, you know, or Michael Jackson or something, there are certain skills that they have in who they are as a person. It makes them infinitely more interesting.
Yeah.
And that's because they have these set of skills that, like, when it comes down to it, we wish that we had those as well. You know, but we all have our own set of skills that we need to learn. So it's like really important to look into who you are and take some of things of like who you were as a child before everyone come in and fucked you up over high school years. You know, and yeah, that's what I always find. It's like equally as important to learn to get through like cunts making you feel like you're that tall.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, and working on your whole craft in general, just as like even like business sides of things, like there's so much to it, and that's why music's really interesting. Or just art in general. I would say it's similar as like being an actor or a painter. Or,
you've got to be you become like almost like a politician or a representative of a brand.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you get super like famous with like traction and stuff, you actually need to learn that communication, like interpersonal skills more than anything, and how to deal mentally with all the pressure.
Don't buy a BMW.
Don't buy a BMW. Oh, rest in peace, Triple X.
Yeah, see,
don't post it daily saying that someone's going to kill you because you'll end up dead the next day.
like premonitions, you know what I'm saying? But,
that's crazy. You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't a fan. I wasn't a fan either of Triple X Tentacion, but then I learnt about it.
Look, he's great. He's great, right? Yeah. Look, a lot of these current like mumble rappers, let's put them under that umbrella. Although there is that element, right, where they are designed, or they're marketed and designed, they're doing well because they're pissing off the 15-year-old white girls' parents of this generation, right? Yeah. You know, but there is some merit to a lot of their art. But at the same time, man, like people like Lil Pump, I can see why they are so why they connect to people. Yeah. Partially because like when you're 15 years old or you're younger or you're trying to be really young, like this hip hop will resonate with you, right? Yeah. Because it's cool, it's new. Your parents don't understand it, and it gives. Because when you're 15, all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys had this, but your parents are fucking. Like, they shit you off so much, and their advice is absolute bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You don't understand that they were right the whole way along until you learn to fucking grow up and pull your head in, and that you don't know everything, right? Yeah. But when you're 15, like, you feel like you fucking do know everything. Yeah. And, you know, being able to make your own choices, as drastic as they are like, that's really important to you. So that's why these kind of rappers and all that stuff...
It's tapping into that vein, for sure. But, of that same insecurity that I felt when I was listening to Slipknot and all that stuff. You know, it's the same thing, but now it's carried on to rap. Yeah. And now it's like, it offends me sometimes. Oh, yeah. Where it's like, holy shit, that's the chorus? Yeah. Whole gang full of drug addicts.
Okay, so... So from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant, right? They're very handsome. They've got a punk style in itself,
right? They got face tattoos and red dreadlocks.
That's punk, like fully. It's fully punk, right?
Like Trippie Redd and all those guys.
All that stuff. They've all got the same marketing campaign. They're all probably from the same. They've got the same people, puppeteers in the background. They've all got the but like in a way they might see someone, like a lot of the time it happens like someone might post a YouTube video, and this is kind of like Lil Pump in a way, like he just never rapped or did any music before and uploads one thing on SoundCloud and it blows up. And it's really hard to believe that, like, I don't know if that happened, mate.
I think there's big money behind these guys, and they're trying to make it seem
epic shit on SoundCloud that's only got 1,000 plays, and I'm talking like, because I'm pretty picky, you know, and I love thinking about this stuff, there's some amazing stuff on SoundCloud that gets nothing. So it's like, you know, it's hard to believe this kind of stuff. But when I hear Lil Pump singing, like literally his last song, Drug Addicts, I get it from a marketing perspective. It's dope. He's a good-looking young bloke. He's got the face tats. All the boxes are ticked, right?
Charlie Sheen's in the video.
Literally.
Charlie Sheen's literally in the video.
It's really difficult to tell now. Like, I don't know whether he's being sarcastic or whether he is genuinely promoting drug use day in, day out. And there are so many young kids hearing this, like, and seeing the epidemic that's going on already. Yeah. You know, so, like, so
there's
many
a fucking kid called Little Xan, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And he's like 16, 17. I don't know if he's 18 yet. Yeah. He's got face tats already. Little white kid.
Like, drugs are not fucking good on a day-to-day basis. They're not even good on a week-to-week basis. I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, and this is sorry for, like, rambling so much, but I do have some things to get off my chest.
That's cool.
But, like, man, the epidemic of mental illness at the moment, right? I've had so many times in my life where I genuinely believe that I'm fucking bipolar or ADD or this or that. The only time when I've, like, look, I'm eccentric to some degree, right? But not to the point where it's just like you can't have him in the room. Like, I have friends like that, and it's just like, oh, don't bring them around. You know, they're an acquired taste. But
what's that? Not disease, but that thing where when someone hears of like a disease or something, they think they have
hypochondria.
Hypochondria, yeah. It feel like, I always find, because there's so much, you get so much not promotion, but you get so much influx of information. Yeah, let's say, about these certain things, where it almost feels like they're creating hyper.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Okay, why do you think most things that are mass marketed are created or presented and thrown at your face for someone else to make money.
Well, exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it's the same way, like, no offense. Like, I love everybody no matter, like on face value, I love everyone. If you're going to be a cunt and you're transgender, you can go fuck yourself, you tranny. But if you're a nice person... You know, like, that's going to become a thing to, like, dig at. But, right, if you're a nice person, you're a fucking, like, you go girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I truly don't care. But at the same time, I'm quite worried about these certain things because the whole transgender movement is making a fuckload of money for the surgeons that do it. And it's just like, you know, that's why this shit, like, as it trickles down to the populace, right, it's coming from... fucking marketing, right? So, I unfortunately, man, you can Google and there's fuckloads of accounts of people that have detransitioned because it didn't help, right? So, it's some form of, like, mental struggle that you need to understand that, man, you're fucking dope the way you are. You know what I mean? Like, you might be a guy that's a bit feminine, and, like, at the end of the day, these traits that you're changing on the outside, you're never going to, like, well, for the foreseeable future, you're not going to be able to have a child. You're never going to know what it's like to be a girl getting her first period and feeling embarrassed, right? You're never going to know that, but you are going to know what it's like on an external thing if you can... like, do it really well and you look like a fucking hot woman, and there's heaps of them that do it. This is in particular to man to female, male to female. You know, like, well done, but it is a man-made marketing thing. Like, high heels.
It's funny because I listened to our favourite 96 FM.
Okay.
And they talk a lot about how younger kids, like, especially in primary school, like, young kids are being taught about transgender. Yeah. And almost... like, to me, it feels like it's confusing kids too young.
Right.
Yeah. And could that be... is that something, like, in the education thing where they're trying to... grab kids at a younger age in marketing terms?
Some would say it's part of the deception to basically break up the family unit.
Look,
as a broader thing.
The flip side of that being is that, like... the good side of that is that it's bringing it out in the open and trying to make it more acceptable for people to come out and go, hey, you know what, this is how I'm feeling, rah. So that's a good side of it, but I tend to agree with the fact that as soon as something comes out, as soon as anyone says anything and it becomes sort of popular in the mainstream, there's always someone that's trying to cash in on it or use that movement for their own agenda and their own things. And I'm not saying everybody is. I'm just saying, like, this is a, like, hugely complicated issue.
Yeah.
You know, like...
But if a kid, like a 5-year-old kid, is running around dressing up in their mum's clothes...
I used to do it.
You don't sit down and talk about transgender with them. You just let them have their fun.
I used to fucking do it, man. And when this transgender shit started coming out, all of a sudden I started feeling like, oh, maybe, like, would I make a hot chick? You know, and you know, I would, to be honest, maybe. So we're gonna get back to that, like, to the mental illness thing, like, on that, right? Because I feel like in a way, there must be a high percentage of people that do in the transition that are very susceptible to marketing and manipulation and, like, the shining green grass on the other side, you know. But yeah, in that sense, like, from when I was young, the whole thing to talk about was ADHD. So I was thrown on amphetamines, like, for most of my life. And, you know, like, I'm not ADD, right? I might be lazy sometimes. If I eat fucking really unhealthy food, I'll be very moody, like, just to start with. And this gets to my point. It's like, if anyone's listening and they're going to a psychiatrist a lot, I've been through them many times in my life. The first time I've ever felt truly content, which is today, and very healthy and happy, was when I took it upon myself to, like, smarten up and realize, no, you're just fucking making excuses for yourself. Like, if you feel that you're, like, looking at the camera, if you feel like you're fucking bipolar or you're emotionally unstable and you're seeing a therapist that mum and dad pays for, think about what you're putting into your body. Drugs, right? Okay, so if you're taking fucking pills, like most of the people that I know that have these problems, okay, there are people with genuine fucking permanent mental issues, right? A lot of the time that comes from a lack of oxygen in their childbirth or a trauma to the head, right? And you can fucking tell the difference between someone that hasn't got their emotions in check and are a little bit fucked from these drugs. The chemicals are going crazy. Give yourself 6 months sober and then come to me and tell me that you're fucking still mentally ill.
Yeah.
Because it's a massive epidemic at the moment that doctors are making a fucking killing from. And I've been prescribed these things.
Ben, can you run for parliament? Like,
No,
can you...
no, I definitely will not.
That was fucking like no.
But that's the truth, right? Okay, so look, you can enjoy your drugs all you like, okay, but be aware of the consequences. You're probably going to be a bit emotionally unstable. Even if you take one pill, you're probably going to be weirdly emotionally unstable or thinking a little bit left of center for a good month. You know, like until your brain has some time to fucking heal. Like if you're smoking pot all the time and like you're feeling like a little bit thing, give that a go for 6 months off just fucking anything, right? Be aware that you're not mentally ill permanently, right? Some people are, and you can fucking tell the difference, man.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone is mentally fucked or someone that's just not really mature, right?
Yeah.
And they're outdoing themselves with chemical interaction.
I'm just going to say something now.
Yeah.
And it might be a bit controversial, but...
No, go for it.
Do you know, when I see a man that has transitioned into a woman,
Yeah.
I'll call you a woman, I'll call you whatever you want.
Yeah.
But in my heart,
You know the difference.
You're not a woman.
Okay, so that's
right.
That's
But people will fucking kill you for saying that.
In that same way, that is being marketed over the top tolerance, no matter how ridiculous
Yes.
and unscientific fact. It's not true.
But
we're being told to.
Exactly. There's no bearing on the respect that I give you.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're a man.
And see, that's the thing. If one of my best friends, who I love to death, right? You know that when you're close, like the closer you are with a friend, the more you're going to pull the piss out of each other for your differences. I'll say arigato every time I see you because I love you. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck whether you're Asian or not. But that's a funny difference, right?
Yeah.
We all have differences and understanding like how funny they are, and it's cool. It's absolutely fine. But this is why there's a massive segregation. It's that divide and conquer shit, right?
Yeah.
By making these differences like massive, like almost like they're huge walls with barbed fucking wire between these people, and you can't acknowledge fact anymore.
You can't.
That's actually it's counterproductive when it comes to equality. You know what I mean?
Equality. The whole argument on equality, whether it's transgender, feminism, all this shit, it starts to get fucking scary.
Yeah,
people get fucking
It really
like
does.
Fucking angry.
And at the end of the day, that's not equality. Like I said, on face value, right? This is, I think, in general, the best law should be everyone deserves equal love and opportunity on face value, right?
On face value. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to see you and go, oh, there's an Asian guy, he can't get this job, or he's going to get paid less, or whatever. If you're a shit worker, I'm going to pay you less. If your interview is fucking shit, I'm going to pay you less.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't negotiate and show that you've got some balls and you know what's going on, you're going to get paid less.
Because there's the egalitarian feminism, which is that core foundation of, equality. But then there's this third wave coming now where they're just militant and they're just out to start arguing.
Domination.
Like there's a difference.
And so they get dopamine from that.
Exactly.
Isn't that weird?
Because I think the real feminists are quiet. Right. The ones yelling, making the most noise.
Yeah.
But they're
just making noise.
That's just the times we're living in as well on every issue. Is that everybody is like too far to the left or too far to the right, and they're just shouting to be heard these days.
Exactly.
Like, nobody wants to sit down and have a civil conversation anymore. It's all my way or the highway, yelling slogans, and it's just like
it's
everybody
all about,
just take a chill pill, calm down,
totally.
let's talk about this. Like,
it's all about tolerance till you disagree with someone. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's racial tolerance, there's diversity. You hear that word a lot now, diversity.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's because they want all of us to be fucking slaves.
I just want to say that
they want everyone under the umbrella. Everybody, black, white, transgender, everybody gets to be a slave now.
Yeah.
Like,
if we've had any female listeners, we've just lost all of them.
No.
No. So it isn't that, man, because there are a fuckload of dope, like, just normal people.
Because I know my, like, what's in my heart is true. And I'm going to blow your mind right now. Do you know Bruce Jenner?
Yeah.
Who is now
Caitlyn
Jenner? Mm-hmm. Do you know she is against gay marriage?
Yeah, see... Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what are you going to tell fucking her? You're gonna throw her under the like you're going to like crucify her?
Yeah.
No, because she's trans. Okay, so she gets a free pass.
Okay,
now.
but no, that's saying so Bruce Jenner was a dude.
Yeah.
That became a chick.
Yeah.
He's against gay marriage.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if he she marries a dude. Is that okay? I think I've just worked out.
I just come up with the funniest joke.
Yeah.
Like, Bruce Jenner was that against gay marriage, but he was gay. So it's like, fuck, the only way that I can get away with this. It's not gay marriage, I'm a woman.
Now, like, I just want to preface, we're not making fun of...
No, absolutely
These are
not.
just fucking jokes.
I'm making fun.
Okay, look.
Johnny's making fun. It's his birthday. He doesn't give
Yeah,
a fuck.
look, we are making fun of the ridiculous. It's in the same sense of South Park, right?
Exactly.
South Park are amazing because it's never coming from a place of hate, right? Not one of us in this room is hateful. You can feel it, but it's just fact, okay? Like, it's really upsetting and sad, but it's also easy because it's marketed to be oversensitive and like you're either for us or against us, right?
Yeah.
It's very black and white now. There is no middle ground, and it's kind of shunned upon. Like, they call them fence sitters these days when people sit on the fence, and it's actually shunned. Isn't that interesting?
It's weird.
Because the world is balanced when you really think about it.
But what is a fence sitter is what? An agnostic. So you've got a Christian and an atheist, and then you've got an agnostic.
And
that's
agnostics
almost it's saying the same thing. That's a fence sitter. I'm an agnostic.
I'm agnostic. Yeah.
Like if a figure suddenly just appeared and was standing there,
You would go, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's almost saying that you're not allowed to. You have to decide whether there is someone there or not.
Yeah. Or you hear a lot like they go, oh, well, you've chosen a side if you're sitting on the fence. Yeah. That is a side. You're not doing anything.
Isn't that so weird? It's like, and it comes down to science, and thank God for acid for me. I've started to like, have you done acid before?
No.
Really?
Nah.
How are all these like really interesting, cool looking hard cunts not hard cunts? You guys look like I would not want to walk down an alleyway and see you guys there, because I feel like these cunts know about the universe. These cunts are gonna roll me. And I'm here like with my little denim shirt, hi guys.
Hi guys.
Well, we're not anymore.
But like, I completely forgot what
I hope no one gets offended at that. But we're just exploring shit. You should be able to.
That is the problem, right?
Considering, like you were saying, exploring the universe with the blood moon planetary alignment, I'm just gonna fucking deviate it.
Really?
You guys, Ben, you said you saw the blood moon the other night.
I did. I rolled over. Last night I set my alarm, or this morning rather, set my alarm, and for like 4, I fell asleep at 3.
No.
And
I just forgot
it was right out my window. Yeah. I knew, because I know the moon path, and it goes straight down my window, so I can just see it out of my bed. So it's pretty cool. I just rolled over, because I've seen a blood moon before, like when I used to take photos. I've seen some on my camera, but I rolled over, saw it, and I went, oh yeah, cool. Went back to sleep. I saw it in its totality, but
the apparently the significant thing about it was there were 5 planets all lined up at the same time. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and I think Mercury.
They're all in retrograde. From my spiritual listeners,
they all lined up like as in their orbits at the same time as that blood moon.
Yeah. There's a lot of this weird bloody blood happening.
Yeah.
Well, no, I reckon we're just at that time in the universe where all that shit starts to happen.
So, Brendan or Brandon?
Brendan.
What was your last point? You did say something like this happens, and it never happened before weed, actually, to be honest, where you lose like what you were saying. You can't remember either, can you?
I have no idea. What point? Like, how long ago? What were we talking about?
It was like the last point.
You were asking Brendan if he did acid before.
You asked me about acid, and I was like, no. Okay. And I said I wasn't going to roll you.
Nah, see, but it was before that.
Now. Parking lot
after now. I mean,
watch yourself, Benno.
But I was talking about like thanks acid for like my science view on things, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm back. Okay. So when you're doing a scientific experiment, it's an experiment usually. Life is an experiment. Our whole existence is an experiment. There's no real right or wrong until something is proven. You know, if I bounce a ball, it's going to bounce back up, and if it doesn't, then we've got something fucking really confusing going on, and then I'm back to agnostic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is, with a scientific experiment, you're meant to be agnostic. A lot of the time, the experimentation is you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very unscientific like to be so polarizing.
Yeah.
You know, and these conversations
Exactly.
should not be black and white. And if you have a listener that's being hurt or offended by this, I urge you to look into yourself and understand why this is firing you up, because this is a room filled with like love. There's no like violence or like hatred to anything, right? But just understand that throughout life you're going to learn and change, and certain things are just going to blow your fucking mind, right? And we attach ourselves to certain ideologies because of an emotional reason, right? And you need to get to the bottom of that, which is, why is that blocking you and making you feel hatred for fucking information?
Yeah.
I think people cling to ideologies because it's easier to do. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think I had this discussion when
you've got a good voice, man.
Hi, thank you.
It's
really weird because I don't have the headphones on. So
it sounds amazing.
It's a tight voice.
It sounds
man.
amazing.
No,
he's a vocalist. He knows how to talk.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But what was I saying? Yeah. So I've said this to you before, Phoenix, that like I think, like, just to go sort of slightly off subject, I think you can sort of relate like religion, and like if you have faith or whatever, that's more power to you or whatever. But I think people belong to religions for the same reason as people join gangs and other crazy organizations or whatever. It's for that sense of belonging and a sense of purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And like, see, I'm agnostic. Like, I got told that years ago, like, because I've always just been like, I'm just going to live my life and whatever, because the way I figure it is that science can't prove or disprove the existence of a higher being, right?
Yeah.
And until such time that there is proof one way or another, I'm just going to live my life and be a good person, not because I'm scared of some retribution from some higher power.
Exactly.
But because it's, just the right thing to do. Just don't be a dick. Like, get rid of the, what is it, the 7 commandments? 10 commandments? 10 commandments?
10. Yeah.
Whatever. Get rid of the commandments, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, if you find yourself at a choice in life and you're thinking, am I a dick or not? Like, you just put that question to yourself.
And the funny thing is, that's actually the number one rule when visiting the Voodoo Lounge in Northbridge.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
But anyway,
really?
like, so...
Yeah.
Nice.
You want to get in, they ask you, do you know the rule? And you're like, yeah, don't be a dick. You say that, you get into the Voodoo Lounge, no problems.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow, okay,
But I actually want to do it because it's weird, because...
Is the Voodoo Lounge a strip club?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool. A bit of Google trivia. The person who first theorized the Big Bang Theory, the creation of the universe, was a Belgian priest.
No way.
A priest, a man of faith, was the first person to theorize the creation of the universe through essentially a scientific method.
No way.
And he believes
that's cool.
Was he the guy that believes that science is the way that God makes things happen?
I don't actually remember his name, but it was a Belgian. But it wasn't till years later I can't remember the actual guy that like almost proved the Big Bang Theory. Or not, I don't think it actually been proved yet. But it wasn't like Galileo or someone like afterwards actually went into trying to discover or putting the science into it. Mm-hmm. But the actual theory first came from a priest.
No way.
Crazy.
Yeah, the old heliocentrism.
That's kind of that's irony in a nutshell, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, so that's really interesting. But then once again, certain people get into these things for a sense of belonging and purpose.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You
shouldn't throw your the opportunity to expand your knowledge or your horizons just because of your religion.
Yeah, and see, but I kind of understand it. Like, I try to look at it from someone else's point of view. And, like, to belong to, like, a religion or a gang, right? Imagine, like, you're born, and to be quite frank, life is terrifying, because, like, if you think you know what you're doing in life and you don't. Like, nobody knows what they're doing. And that's scary to admit that nobody knows what they're doing. We're all just trying to do the best we can, right? So a lot of people go, no, here's a set of beliefs or ideals.
A rule book.
And just go, this is what I'm going to do because it's easier. I don't have to think that way. But also because... like, basically, people just feel lonely and they just want acceptance to be part of the tribe sort of thing. So, imagine if somebody came up to you and said, if you join this gang or this religion, not only will you have a sense of purpose, like, if you join a gang, you've got your brothers there and your sense of purpose is for the cause, You join a religion, your sense of purpose is doing the Lord's work. It's the same thing, right? And also, you join a gang... and you've got that sense of brotherhood because it's all for one, like, you know, blood in, blood out, you know, everybody in that crew has your back. You join a religion, God has your back at all times, you know what I mean? So it's like, I totally understand why people do that, because if I could believe that, like, I'd love to think that we're all here for a purpose, we're all here for a reason, and every day I'm here to do something that, you know, because we all need a sense of purpose, and I'd love to believe that there is a higher power or like a crew of people that have my back 24/7 no matter what I'm doing, you know?
Well, speaking of joining gangs, the Church of Scientology in Belmont is open and they accept walk-ins.
Oh, that's where I'm going next week, guys.
But my point is that they're all basically gangs, and I get why people would join them. And you know, and I'm not, you know, if that's your bag, I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying that's my point of view. And I understand that, because it's the same, you know, I'm in a band, and, you know, I'm hoping for that sense of brotherhood and purpose as well. So we're all searching for it. So, like, don't feel bad. Like, you know, like, just do what you got to do to get through the day and try not to hurt people along the way. You know what I'm saying? Just be you, be yourself, and just live your life and try not to fuck the place up.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick, exactly.
But it's like, because when a lot of science nowadays is actually almost going spiritual.
Well, see,
it's actually Stephen, like, and I love it. I talk about this too much. This is where I become an old man, because I repeat the same stories.
Your age is when you
dude, I do that too. Don't worry about it.
Like, I still remember going to a bookstore. It must have been, I think it was in Claremont, and I picked up a Stephen Hawking's book, and like Theory of the Universe, or one of his big famous books. And I just, you know, the big thick books that you can't be fucked reading, so you skip to the end of it to read. And essentially his last sentence after explaining the entire universe was, "It just is." Mm-hmm. And like, how much more, like, it's almost saying that out of all the science you can write and prove, there's still no answer. And the answer is almost just like,
it just is. Yeah.
It just is.
I always think, like I keep saying, everything is and isn't at the same time. That's why, like, sometimes you might catch yourself, like in life, or you'll see things, you're conscious and you're seeing a frame rate. But in between every frame, I think it's like roughly 60 frames per second we see. Like, so you're going like that, and you'll see like little still
there's pure nothing at the same time.
That's what I think.
Yes.
But at a it's like a strobe light at a rate of infinity. It's equally like, is and equally isn't.
It's like when you look at those fluorescent lights, and they're just, you're not seeing
it's
a
like
persistent
a heartbeat,
light. It's actually going on and off really quickly.
If there was a big bang, so to speak, instead of just this shrink and growth. Yeah. You know, like,
Well, the argument, to define the Big Bang Theory of what it is, there's a lot of the matter before mind, or mind before matter.
Yeah.
Like, so the Big Bang, they can say, yes, everything existed because two particles, or a single particle just exploded. But where did that, like, what is before that? Where did that particle come at? If there was nothing, how did it just appear?
Yeah.
And that's almost just, that's the same thing as saying that someone just appearing in the room right now.
Yeah.
Is there any science that could say why a person would just appear?
So that's what I've been thinking lately. All this spiritual stuff and supernatural things, even when you think of stuff like Harry Potter, I truly believe that in some realm or whatever, like, that might be real in some sense, but magic, as we envision it, is just the pure height of technology. As we upgrade,
holy shit, that was heavy.
No, but it's funny, deep. So what's significant in, you know, you brought up Harry Potter, and what is a significant thing that we always hear about, we always hear stories about, yet has never ever been proven in life? Dragons.
I thought you were going to say...
No.
Well, not really. I mean, I thought you were going to say aliens.
Well,
okay, dragons? Sure.
Dragons aren't far off aliens. And now...
I think they're closer to dinosaurs.
Yeah. But, I mean, see, I'm in the belief that dragons were kind of dinosaurs.
Well, no, but that's where I think it came from. Like, if you look at the mythology behind it, it's, you know...
Yeah, but when... Like, so I'm bringing it up because I was walking through the Sistine Chapel. I was walking through the Vatican fucking city. Mm-hmm. And almost all the artwork and all the sculptures and all the gold-plated shit, fucking dragons everywhere.
That's just because dragons kick ass.
But where did it come from?
They are cool looking. They are cool looking.
Like, how does this idea of a creature such as a dragon exist if there is no such evidence that it even existed?
Well, look,
why is it so prominent?
Well,
it's an aspect of your own mind.
Well, see,
the
yeah,
serpent.
that's the thing. Like, well, I mean, how did the idea of like, let's see, once again, where did the idea of Harry Potter and all that stuff come from? I understand what you're saying, right? But see, maybe they did exist here. Maybe they exist, like, sometimes with our imagination when we combine things. So that's what I'm saying. On some plane, maybe these worlds that we create, even like video game worlds and things like that, these stories are coming from somewhere that might actually will happen or like have happened or something, you know?
It could be just our minds will create answers for us when we don't understand something. I think it's just our way of trying to understand things. Like, for example, what you're saying about dragons, right? And it's like, okay, so dinosaurs actually existed, right? If we accept that as true, like, you know, they found
if we accept that as true.
Nah, bro, the Earth is flat. This is fake. Flat Earth, man. Flat Earth, man. Dinosaurs
have been here for 4,000 years.
What, do dinosaurs have curved feet? Do they?
No, it's a fisheye lens on the feet.
But just say, so dinosaurs actually existed, right? What's to say that in some fucking crazy ass like medieval time or whatever, it's like back in history, some motherfucker just happened upon some sort of descendant of the dinosaurs, saw it, didn't fully get a good glimpse at it, like, you know, the Loch Ness Monster style. They see something, go, what is that? And they don't get a glimpse at it, and your mind sort of fills in the blanks.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a Chinese whisper
thing. And then becomes next thing you know, these things are breathing fire and they're flying, even though this guy was like, you know, and you can't prove it one way or another. And I think it's just our minds, basically, like you were saying before, our minds are blown every day, and it's just your mind's going, fuck, what is going on here?
It's like a game of Wheel of Fortune. You only get some letters.
Here's the best I can do to piece it together, you know? It's kind of like, I think Photoshop does it when you take something out of like the latest Photoshop or whatever, and it sort of pieces together what it thinks the background would be.
Yeah. When you do the healing tool,
I think your mind is a bit like that. If it doesn't know what's going on, it just goes to the most logical thing it can sort of piece together from what you already know about the world. You know?
I don't know why, but
that's a great fucking analogy, man. With the Photoshop thing, it's very similar.
It suddenly sparked a memory. I'm just going back to being a fucking old man and remembering my fucking life because I don't know how much I got left.
I feel like we're feeling way older prematurely.
Dude, chill out. So what are you, 34 today, is it? Like,
no,
dude, but I feel so old. I started feeling old at 25. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
But okay, here we go. So when I must have been 8 years old. My granddad.
So well past it then.
Yeah. My granddad from South Africa that I only ever met twice in my life. He dropped a fucking bombshell on my head when I must have been like 8 years old.
Ouch.
And he said, and he explained this idea. He was a mathematician. He was a South African mathematician, school teacher and that. And he said how we live in the third dimension.
We live in the third dimension. No, in his accent. You have to do the accent. Yeah. We live in the third dimension.
We live in a third dimension. And we can understand the second and the I can't fucking do it.
And the third.
Yeah.
Sorry to all our South African listeners.
But he says how because we live in the third dimension, we can't perceive the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
But people in the fourth dimension can't perceive the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
But you can always perceive the dimensions below it. So we can see the first and the second dimension and the third, but we can't see the fourth.
Actually, that's the PlayStation and Xbox range are very opposite to that. I think if we take them, I think they disagree with you, mate. They can't see those old generations. But no, you're right.
Yeah, but that's always something that's like essentially been a baseline in my mind from as much as I can remember, is this idea that there almost has to be more than what we actually can comprehend in our minds.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, if there is some deity, right? If there is some God, chances are there is some kind of conscious thing that might oversee or understand or observe what is going on with us, right? Every single one of us. If you think but once again, I feel like that is the absolute height of technology, science. It's science and technology.
I love how you phrase that, because there's a quite a large, population in the conspiracy community that think a lot of the technology that we're discovering now is old shit.
Yeah, of course.
But the days of Noah and shit in the Bible, that was the height of the technology.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about dragons and things like that, they could be avatars or
okay.
projections
I want to bring it
in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're literally repeating the same cycle.
Can I just?
you know?
I want to say, can we like almost have a timeout in a little bit?
What you need to pee?
Yeah, I need to pee, have a smoke, have a bit of a break.
Oh, it's a podcast. You can stop and come back.
But the we went and saw Jurassic World the other day.
I was at the premiere for that. Yeah, thank you. You're in the presence of royalty.
But I was actually sitting down with my dad afterwards and talking about it because we went through it.
Sorry, what was that?
Dinosaurs. How long have dinosaurs lived on the planet? This is going back if dinosaurs were real.
Yeah, 65 million years, wasn't it?
Like 60 fucking million years dinosaurs have lived on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And humans have been around for what? 1,000? A couple of thousand?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fucked.
No,
we are fucked.
To add to that, did you know that every dynasty is about 1,000 years?
Really?
So, yeah, like in China, all those dynasties, they're about 1,000 years old. Egypt, how long was Egypt? About 1,000 years old, right? Yeah. So we're like 100 years into tech, not even. Maybe 50.
Yeah. So that's
we got another 900 years.
We almost do not. The human race does almost not even register on the scale of the existence of this Earth.
Yeah.
If you want to take the scientific method.
Which is pretty accurate.
Which
is pretty accurate.
I would say more or less that's pretty accurate.
But to think that we're like 10% into the timeline of this cycle.
This cycle
is freaky.
Yeah. The way I like to look at it is like, we laugh at when you're in school and you're learning about the Dark Ages and about how like medicine back then and people are like, oh, you got a headache, better drill a hole in your head to get the demon out.
I love that though. That's the best. It works.
But how funny is that, right? How funny is it? We laugh at that, right? And in 100 years' time, they're going to be looking back on our times, laughing at the shit we're doing now.
Exactly.
Like, it's ridiculous. They'll be sitting there going, oh, look at these chumps. They were warring about fucking religion or over oil.
It's the same as when you look at your MySpace profile, man. It's the same thing.
The sad thing, and I hate to put a fucking cloud over it, but I really don't think the human race is going to last as long as we think it is.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad thing, but it's not going to.
I honestly believe that the Earth would be a better place without the human race.
Oh, fuck,
and
the Matrix says it perfectly that we are a fucking disease. We are a disease.
I mean, basically, if the Earth is a living organism, we're the cancer, and we're just spreading, killing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Not to get all.
So let's all go kill ourselves.
Cool. So you got that blade? A sufficiently sharpened blade, or that?
Just drink the Kool-Aid.
All right, let's take a break.
Let's have a breaky poo.
Lovely.
Time.
That was a way to kick it. Ooh, woo!